I always love giving back to the community. You know, that's kind of what we're based on. You know, I mean, it's easier for me, I think, to give back to the community that I was raised in. You know, that's really supportive. Giving back to the kids. You know, I mean, I graduated from North, but went to South.
Burgers, tacos, pizza. Oh my! Season 7 of the No Dishes podcast is here. Once again, brought to you by Visit Bloomington. Check them out at visitbloomington.com. Especially if you live in Bloomington, you'll find out about all this cool stuff going on around town that you had no idea about. Also, please support our other advertisers on this episode. The best way to show us some love is to show them some love. You already know what I'm going to say. Play that theme song.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. No dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine, relax and have a good time. No dishes. No dishes.
You're sitting at home. You're hungry. You're too lazy to leave. You don't want to leave. Or you're just really busy and you can't leave. And you've just been thinking about all this amazing food that you could have, but it's not there. It's not at home with you. And you've listened to No Dishes and you've heard the gripes about DoorDash and the large national corporate companies. You're like, oh, the driver's going to eat fries out of my food or something. What do? Well, fortunately for you, we've got a driver on deck. Driver on Deck, local delivery company, Nate and Tori Harris. Thank you guys for being here.
It is great to be here, for sure. Yeah. Long-time viewer, you know, first time, I guess, guest appearance on here. So
Yeah. We need to get callers. That would be sick. We've talked about that. Like, long-time listener, first-time caller. First off, Jordan, how dare you? That was fun. Thanks for letting me do that little, setting the scene there. I'm going to do that more often. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, right.
So you guys, essentially, I kind of already told the viewers, you guys are a local substitute or better for DoorDash. Is that the best way, or how would you sum up Driver on Deck?
Yeah, the best way, I guess, the differentiators we have is that, for one, we only work with local restaurants and support local restaurants in town. You know, we noticed that they need a lot of help right now, especially since the pandemic. But we don't hike the fees, you know, like DoorDash has and everything. So we have our own app as well that customers can order from and whatnot, and get that delivery service like you mentioned. But they're paying the same menu prices that they would pay in store versus a 30% markup a lot of times.
Yeah, you know, we've had to do that, Chocolate Moose, a lot of other places where DoorDash charges this markup. You can't be a profitable business and not then mark up your prices.
Exactly.
So the only way to use it is, hike your prices up. So your fees potentially might be a hair more than DoorDash, if not the same, but the prices of the items themselves are lower.
Actually, sorry, no, our fees are actually lower as well. The whole cost.
So everything's just, okay, so there's no reason.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, it's a no-brainer on that situation for sure.
So let me get this right. I'm going to go full infomercial on it. So you're telling me, if I call in the next 30 minutes, I'm just kidding. It's that way all the time.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So what inspired you guys? How long has Driver on Deck been around, and what inspired you to start it? Because having your own app, and you've been around for a couple years, at least, that I know. I'm looking forward to hearing more of the history, but what started it?
Back, I guess I'll let you take a lot of this, but we started during the pandemic, and really conceptualized our idea. Tori, I'm wearing actually as an homage, my BJ's Brew House Brew Genius shirt here, and that's kind of how we met, but really conceptualized the idea during the pandemic, and when we were, the industry was pretty much laid off at that time. Did you want to dive more into that and talk about how who we talked to, or just talk to different restaurants?
Yeah, we talked to a couple. We started with Roly Poly, but the delivery came up with actually Jeff Meese.
Nice.
Us. Yeah, we came to him with
shout out to Jeff Meese.
Yeah, right.
JM, he's somewhere back there on the wall. Yeah.
But he said that if you guys could really get into delivery, that's where it's going, and that's a fantastic idea. And so sitting at home, we're like, okay, well, how can we make this delivery thing work?
Yeah, and support the community, and instill I came back down from Fort Wayne, I guess, and we'll touch on this here in a little bit more on where we started and whatnot. But I was born in Bloomington, graduated from Bloomington North, and I missed some of the restaurants that we used to have, and started to see some of those go to the wayside, from all these extra costs and everything, and the fees that have been taking place since the pandemic. But anyway, I forgot where I was going with some of that.
It happens to me all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, as a business owner, and you especially have your mind everywhere. You're doing different projects and whatnot. So you're like, that's one thing. Starting a business, you find out you're like, no, what was I thinking? I got this on the back burner and everything else.
Well, the thing with Jeff, like to me, hiring in-house delivery drivers is a terrifying idea, but he's been doing it forever with Pizza X, so he understands the ins and outs. He's like, yeah, it's not a big deal. So that's cool that he's like, yeah, do this. Like, because chocolate, like, we don't want to do that. We don't want to have in-house delivery. That's a whole nother can of worms outside of what we already do to tackle. So to have someone local doing that, it makes sense that he encouraged you to do that, because it's such an asset to other local places. So when you talked to Roly Poly first, was this back when Tom owned it, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that was the first client you guys kind of onboarded?
Yeah, we went around to a few of the different restaurants in town, and they were like, well, I haven't heard of you, didn't want to give us a shot then, and put all their eggs in one bag. I understand that completely. We had to get our name out there. But Tom was willing to take a shot, and said, let's try this. He was looking to hire delivery drivers at the time anyway, and it seemed to just make sense. Our business model and everything worked out. We have flat fees. We don't charge, commission or anything like that he was used to with the other platforms. So he's like, I like this. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. What has been the hardest hurdle for you to clear? Because I'm sure, you're sitting at home, pandemic, you're conceptualizing it. You're like, oh, this is a no brainer. But then you start doing it. And just like anything, it's never quite maybe as easy as we think. When you really started digging into it, whether it's developing the app, onboarding restaurants, what was maybe the biggest challenge that you didn't expect?
Oh man, recently actually, it's basically what they call a three-headed marketplace that the mill, kind of helped us out with, the Dimension Mill here in town for startups and whatnot. But found out that it's a three-headed marketplace, and we didn't know the volume of drivers. Matching everything together was going to be so difficult. Basically, it's like, oh, you have drivers, now you need orders, now you need the customers, placing, and restaurants, and so that was. What would you say on that?
I would say just trying to get restaurants to actually be willing to sit down and talk to us at first.
At the beginning, yeah,
we were very new, and they're like, we've never heard of you. We're working with DoorDash. Why you?
Right.
And wouldn't even take the time, because we at that point only had roly poly. So they're like, okay, cool, you're roly poly drivers essentially.
I don't know.
And so I'd say that was probably, especially starting out, was our hardest hurdle.
Yeah, I agree. That starting out, yes. The most unexpected, was dealing with a three-headed market, three-headed beast.
Yeah. So how have you figured that out? Make sure, because I know both of you do driving yourselves.
Correct.
Like, you are the owners and founders of this company. You're still out there running orders. How do you make sure you have enough drivers on during a dinner rush? And then is it just kind of happen organically, as far as they know that's when the money is, so that's when they kind of clock in? Because with DoorDash, I know one of the positives for people when they go work for them is like, oh, I can just clock it in and out whenever I want. But you have a business to sustain. How do you kind of manage that?
That's secret sauce in what we've discovered with some of these other platforms that they had to figure out too. It's basically, it boils down to promotions and incentivize them to get on when you need them to get on, type of thing. We've worked all different systems so far. We've tried scheduling, which we still use some scheduling to allow the drivers to get their own orders and everything else, so they're not competing as much as they are on the other platforms. So that's definitely one of the things we've done. Seems to be somewhat successful, but yeah, the secret sauce lies with just the promos and basically incentivizing them to get on, during those peak times, like you were talking about.
How many drivers do you guys currently kind of have onboarded?
Onboarded, we have over 30.
Nice.
I'd say
That's great.
Quite a few in the pocket.
Quite a few that are just kind of hanging out waiting. We have about 5 right now full time.
Okay.
That just kind of log on weekly for us.
That's sweet, and just running orders. What's one of the things that I've seen from the restaurant side is, we'll make an order, we'll hand it out. and then we hear it never got delivered. And you're just like, what do you know, how challenging is it sometimes whether you show up to a restaurant and you have to wait an hour, or because is there a chain reaction from that? Because you're like, well, I was going to do this and then this, now I have to go knock out this order and come back. I feel like the logistics of delivering all these different orders from different places can get pretty hairy pretty quick.
Yeah, you would. We did have to deal with that right off the bat. That was a routing system that we have in dispatching, basically, that we see the orders as they come in, you know, and luckily we're small right now, but we have built in those routing features, so it will send another order through the system, you know.
Okay.
And, we haven't had an order that's been, like you said, we've had to wait an hour for or something like that.
That's
usually,
great.
Yeah, usually.
And maybe that's because you're only working with local restaurants.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, that does have a lot to do with it. That does have a lot to the
Wink,
communication.
wink.
has a lot to do
Right.
with it.
That's
Agreed.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's as far as like developing the app, I feel like that's something. Do you have to just go out and hire programmers, or what's that process like?
Yeah, good question. So I'm going to date myself a little bit here, and one of my first jobs after high school was actually I went to Austin P, which is in Clarksville, Tennessee, and my mother's a professor. So she said, hey, you can do a work study job down here in the computer lab. And I'm like, oh, you're trying to keep me away from all the girls and everyone I see. I see what we're doing here, Mom. That's fine. I'll do that. I can study or whatnot, you know. And so I got a job in the computer lab, and this was back when Yahoo was getting started. You know, I mean, so I was messaging some of my friends back home, over the, it was basically a interweb for the universities. And it was still in like green text back then. That's what you had, green text over black background. To get a picture from someone back home was going to take at least a day or two.
Wow. Yeah.
So I learned to develop websites and everything just as the internet was getting started and whatnot, and started, you know, I moonlighted with that, you know, built business websites and everything, kept up with it, started doing my own coding. That's how I quickly put this together during the pandemic, and then, yes, hired on some extra help where we couldn't. I was like, this is beyond my scope.
Yeah, but still to be able to even get that first step or two out of the way with past coding experiences, a nice leg up.
For sure, that helped the idea.
Yeah, you're like, thanks, Mom. Did you tell your mom thank you?
Oh, yeah. She's been thanked plenty of times, you know. That's,
Yeah, like she knows how much I owe her.
yeah, she's patting herself on the back right now, I'm sure.
Well, you mentioned a little bit, you know, about your college history and then being from Fort Wayne. Let's get the background on both of you guys as far as experience working in restaurants. I know, you know, when I first met you were at BJ's.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've seen it from that perspective as well. And I'll let you guys go. Whoever would like first is just your background up until this point.
So I'm actually from California. I'm from the Bay Area. So I moved here 9 years ago.
Okay.
But I bartended out there in actually like a bowling alley. It was like a full bowling alley bar.
Oh,
Everything.
I love that.
It was pretty cool. So that's where I started. We moved out here, worked at Applebee's, and then got the job at BJ's Brew House. But have had like 15 years, I think, in restaurant experience altogether.
Wow, bowling alley bartender. I've got a couple friends that have bartended at the local bowling alley, and it seems like a fun gig. You're pouring pitchers of beer, you're doing some Long Islands, and just
back.
yeah.
I'm
No
sure.
one's coming in being like, oh, I'd like a Manhattan up
Right.
at the bowling alley. You know what I mean? It's
it
just
was like shots and like you said, Long Island's beer. That was it. It was the best job actually.
So I've done that gambit too, in a little hole in the wall truck stop bar type of thing.
Interesting.
That's how I cut my teeth, as they say. It was right on the outskirts of Fort Wayne, basically. That's how I got into the bartending gig. Backing up way further than that, my grandparents actually owned Charles Potato Chips here in the southern Indiana area. So that was a chip and cookie business, basically, where they would deliver the canned goods. Again, dating myself, how old that company is.
I've never heard something called a chip and cookie business, and I want involved.
Yeah,
like I'm
for sure.
I'm in the wrong field. I didn't know it. Oh, I'm the chip and cookie business. It's like, what?
Right.
That's
There's a chip and cookie and a can?
Yeah. What? Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. Yeah. So that's where I really started and got, you know, I guess into business and whatnot. But as far as the food industry, yeah, it was bartending back in Fort Wayne, just looking for another job and some income and everything. And, you know, thought, well, let me give this a try and see what it's about. And that takes you on a whole gambit. I mean, I went from flair bartending to, nightclub bartending, just the whole gambit of things, which,
Every type of bartending. Yeah.
every type of bartending. And then, decided, except for corporate, I never worked for a corporate restaurant up until I got down here.
Until BJ's?
Until I came back home. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think I did a short stint with, what was it? Red Lobster.
Okay.
Because, and I'll let you tell the funny story about how you were employed there shortly before me.
I wasn't even going to mention it. Okay.
I'm glad he brought it up. She was holding out on us.
So I worked at Applebee's and I was a server there, but I wanted to bartend. So Red Lobster hired me on as a bartender, but I didn't know how small the bar was and how.
Oh, yeah.
So I went through all the training and it just wasn't for me. And at the same time, I had just had applied to BJ's and I had gotten that job as a bartender. And so I told them, I said, hey, I'm going back to California. I don't know why I lied. Instead of just saying hey, this isn't for me. But they hired him and said, yeah, some girl, I guess, moved back to California, so you can have this job. So I guess you're welcome.
Yeah. I needed something too. And I appreciated the fact that it was a small bar.
Yeah.
Because I had just gotten in a bad car accident back in Fort Wayne, which brought me, down here to recover. My grandparents were sick at the time, and I was helping them as well, and they were helping. It was a mutually beneficial thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was a small bar. I didn't have to run back and forth as much, so I was thankful for that. But then,
I laughed when you said it because I've sat at that bar. It's 4 seats, maybe.
Yeah.
It is so small. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's why it's just funny.
Yeah.
But there are a couple tables in that area. I'm assuming you get to wait on those when you bartend.
I think they said you would, but I was just like,
you never saw anyone sit there?
No.
Well, that was the thing. Yeah, it was such a weird area that it didn't have the ambiance of a bar. And most people that like to go out and sit at a bar, you don't get the pros from it there. It was such an odd setup.
Yeah, and tight. It's really tight.
But it worked out. So because you're recovering, you're rehabbing, you're back in Bloomington helping out your parents. So you're there for how long? And then you end up over at BJ's.
I want to say 2 to 3 months.
Not very long. Okay.
Not long at all. Just enough to say, okay, I can do this. Enough to PT basically behind the bar, remembering how to pour, walking, a little bit.
Okay. So it's kind of a good little warm up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Did you work there long enough to have a favorite signature Red Lobster cocktail? I don't know. Did they make?
I think I had a lot of cocktails. I don't remember. I was probably making my own back then.
They were all signatures. Yes.
I had my signature on every one.
How much are you paying for your restaurant's business insurance? What's affordable for your needs? What does your agent do for you that isn't just policy writing? Tony Brown with First Insurance Group has a keen eye for the policies all restaurant owners and operators would love to have. Tony provides risk management and other HR resources free of charge as your agent. Tony has no waiting period for loss of business coverage starting from day 1, minute 1, unlike other carriers' 72-hour waiting period. Tony has no audit for liquor liability and general liability, saving you time so you can focus on running your restaurant. And Tony's insurance carrier is the preferred vendor of choice for the Indiana Restaurant and Lodging Association. Call or text Tony Brown with First Insurance Group today, 812-327-2321. Set up a free review of your current policy and see how Tony can help you protect your largest investment, your business. 812-327-2321. So you get over to BJ's. I remember when BJ's opened, it was, it's based out of California, I believe, right? And everyone was like, oh, this will be cool. It's a pizza kitchen, all this stuff. What was your experience like when you first started at BJ's? You were both bartending, right?
You want to take the first half?
It was, when we first opened, it was great. It was busy. You were making money. And then I would say it completely changed after COVID. And he didn't even come back after COVID. I came back for a little bit and it just wasn't the same. But when it first started, I would say it was a really good gig for corporate.
I'm going to tell about the story, of course, when I was left alone by myself at during homecoming, since it's actually coming up.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Yes.
We had just
This
opened.
will come out the Tuesday after homecoming.
Okay,
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
So pay attention to the crowds and remember how busy it is and everything. Now, this is when the brew house just opened, basically the first year it opened. A few of our employees decided they wanted to go out, kegs and eggs, and then, even party the night before that. So hadn't drank that much. I was, expecting it to be busy and everything. So I went in, showed up for my shift. No one showed up after me. Well, later that night, someone did show up. I won't mention any names, but they know who they are. Miss them. Hello. And anyway, they came in hammered, and just it was more trouble to have them behind the bar trying to serve, breaking glasses and everything.
Yeah.
It's just in the way type of thing. And I was like, saw the line out the door. I mean, you're talking 90 people waiting on, just a drink basically. And I'm like, okay, it's me. I don't regret it because I made a lot of money and it was worth it, but wow, constant,
That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then afterwards, you're like, did you guys have fun? Did you enjoy it? Are you happy? Just talking smack every time you see them afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough, man. I love that feeling, though, whether bartending I've had at the Moose, any place where you just like, it is you, and you are going to be overwhelmed, but just like getting your head down and getting through it. And I found people tend to tip really well when they see you just busting your ass and like, wow, they are cranking
100%.
it, and they're not completely just losing their mind, like at least externally. Internally you probably are, but they don't see it. That's the key. You got to hide it. So I know
inside you're crying.
You're bawling. You're in the fetal position. So the old GM at BJ's is Ken from Ellie Mae's Barbecue, who they're at Food Truck Fridays all the time, and they're also a client of yours as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we call them partners, but yeah.
Partners. I don't know.
No worries.
Yeah, a partner of yours. I think I said partner earlier for the record. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, no, Ken's a great guy with great food too. Got to know him during working for him, basically. And he's been very supportive. We've been supportive on that side, and it's been a great partnership, helping each other grow and just seeing. Hey, we can do this. We don't have to work for
a big corporate chain.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because Ken and I have had our fair share of conversations, over the early mornings at Switchyard Park before Food Truck Friday starts, and talking about BJ's, my time at O'Charlie's, all the corporate stuff, and it is just cool to see the BJ's alum, so to speak, like you guys kind of doing your thing, supporting local. Ken starting his own food truck with really great brisket tacos, by the way.
Awesome brisket tacos.
And yeah, it's just cool because on the radio show I do every Wednesday on WGCL with Glass in the Afternoon, we'll talk about some corporate chain stuff because there are still local people working there. And a lot of them end up going on to do other stuff, but the focus is always still local. But like you're like, yeah, okay, every now and then we talked about, I went over to Applebee's for their, like, it was all you can eat riblets, shrimp, and boneless chicken wings. I was like, yeah, like wasn't the highest quality food, but like I gorged, and it was like salty, and it was like it had okay taste. I wasn't mad about it.
We have our guilty pleasures.
I was going to say, when I worked there, I ate their food too. So, I mean, no, it's good. I mean, what it is.
My biggest thing is the riblets aren't what they were when I was a kid. I swear. That's the one thing where, like, as a kid, they were as good as any baby back rib I'd had, those riblets. And now it was that was one of the courses I did during the all-you-can-eat thing, and it just wasn't the quality of beef or whatever it is did not taste phenomenal. See, Garrett pulled up a picture. It looks very good.
They make it look good.
But it tasted almost like dog food-esque. I still ate it all, and it was like saucy. But like, you know what I mean? Anyway, I had to get off on that tangent. Speaking of other partners of yours, who are some of the other local people that you're working with in town?
Oh gosh, he's gonna make us name them here.
You don't need all of them.
This will be, well, we don't want to leave any of them out because they're all awesome.
Yeah.
But this is where you leave, Garrett, all of the list scrolling across.
Yeah.
You guys are right there. So there you go.
There we go.
You can
So
cheat.
maybe you can see that better.
Yeah, he's got you.
You want to cover some of them.
I can see it better. So it's baked, hive, even reading it, Buffalo's, Gable's Bagels, Chef's Table, Roly Poly, Bloomington,
Ellie Mae's.
Ellie Mae's,
gyms,
Tacos
yeah.
El Pastor, Rep Burger.
Sweet. So yeah, you've got a lot from
Couple coming too that aren't listed yet.
Ooh, are you allowed to say any yet?
I mean, yeah, we can give them a shout out because they're onboarding this weekend, and by the time that we get everything done, then it'll be aired already.
Yeah.
So yeah, Boom Burger actually
Nice,
got
yeah.
on, and I believe you were the part of the works of that. Appreciate.
Oh yeah,
that,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was just talking to Carrie Atkins, who's super sweet. She has famous Boom Burgers, not Bloom Burger, which is Hallie, and really good burger. They're two different things, but Bloom Burger, Boom Burgers. The Boom Burgers are these little sliders. They're really just different concepts. But Carrie with famous Boom Burger does really great stuff. Little mini corn dogs. It's really just simple. It's simple, but it's good. Like to the point they don't even do lettuce, onion, or mayo. It's like ketchup, mustard, pickle, cheese, bare bones, but it's a solid slider. So they're based out of the Eagles down there on South
On the
Walnut.
south side of town, yeah.
Yeah, and then Garrett, can you pull back up their list of partners? Because I was just looking at, so you've got all these food trucks that people participate in Food Truck Friday, Bloomington, Ellie Mae's, Rapa Burger, and then Chef's Table. We had Claude and Tiffany on here. I mean, I think
Awesome
you're
couple.
the only delivery you can get them through is you guys.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, we have some exclusives on there.
Chef's Table, here, the thing that this is so important because if you're like me, you don't go to the West Side a whole lot. There's people that live over there, work over there. I used to work over there, but for me, I don't really have too many errands or anything take me out there, but I love Chef's Table. And so the fact that you can get it delivered and you can only get it delivered through Driver on Deck, I feel like is a huge thing that like people need to know about, you know?
For sure,
Because they
yeah.
might go to DoorDash and be like, oh, I guess I can't get it. It's like, no, there's a local place delivering for Chef's Table and it's driverondeck.com. Hive too, the fact that you guys do them, that Hive Pie is
Another exclusive.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Another
Okay.
Yeah.
exclusive delivery service. Yeah.
Yeah, are there any other? So Baked obviously does their own delivery, plus you guys
Plus
doing
us.
some too.
Yeah.
And then
We're
Gable,
Gable's Bagels in-house delivery.
Yeah.
We are their service.
and Gable's Bagels, my God, I cannot say enough good things about how good that food is, man.
Right.
You know, Bloomington Bagel Company is fantastic. We're very just fortunate in Bloomington to have Bloomington Bagel Company and Gable's Bagels. But that Gable's Bagels, it's their pastrami that just that James smokes and does in-house
I'm a
for
Lox
them.
fan myself.
Oh,
and
yeah?
I think we spoke off air about, my congestive heart failure and everything. So I've got to limit it, but
Yeah.
oh my God, I love it. Yeah,
Moderation,
definitely, yeah.
I just learned that word a week ago. You actually taught it to me when we were speaking at the career cruise thing. Your kids will have a blast at Constellation Stage and Screen's upcoming musical, The True Story of the Three Little Pigs, on stage October 25th through November 10th at the Waldron Arts Center. There are two sides to every story, and when the big bad wolf takes the stand in Pigsylvania's trial of the century, he finally gets his say. Enter the jury box and help decide the fate of the big bad wolf in this musical adaptation of the hit children's book. See The True Story of the Three Little Pigs on stage October 25th through November 10th in downtown Bloomington. Find tickets at cconstellation.org. You and I were doing a chamber event, and it's like it wasn't the career cruise that's coming up in November for middle schoolers, but it was at South, just like a career
Upstarter Career Fair, I believe it's called.
Yeah. Thank you. Perfect.
Of course. Okay.
And the chamber puts it on. It's really cool. They did one at North, they did one at South, and it's just showing these kids all these different career opportunities. Why is it that you choose to be involved in stuff like that?
I always love giving back to the community. That's kind of what we're based on. I mean, it's easier for me, I think, to give back to the community that I was raised in, that's really supportive. I love the culture that's going on here, and aside from all that, giving back to the kids, I graduated from North, but went to South as well. So I actually went to 4 different high schools in 3 years, but that's a story.
Oh,
another time. So,
yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I love going back and seeing how the schools have changed, and just seeing what's going on these days and helping.
Well, and you had a lot of kids interested. We were neighbors set up side by side, and they're going over there asking about Driver on Deck, seeing that as a career. Not only you can go deliver food as a side hustle, or you said you have some full timers, or just you showcasing your entrepreneurial spirit. Like, hey, we started this company, we saw a need, and we filled it, and we developed our own app. And I feel like that's really encouraging and cool for high school students to be able to see.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the push they need to like have an idea and run with it when they see someone like yourself in the community there being like, oh, that guy did it.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And they give us, a lot of great feedback too. So they're just as equally important in the whole thing.
Yeah,
so.
a little insight into they're going to be. I mean, hell, they might be having their parents.
They're already
ordering. Yeah. That's it's like we always talk about all the college kids in Bloomington with good reason, but you don't think about the high school kids that are still.
Yeah, latchkey kid. I was a latchkey kid growing up. And, oh my gosh, back when I was young, that you could. I think there was only Pizza X and maybe is it Peach Garden? One of the restaurants in town, though. One of the Asian restaurants in town. Only 2 delivery spots you could get back then. So.
Oh yeah, it was a whole different ball game. I mean, even when I first moved to Bloomington in 2009, you could get baked delivered, you could get the pizzas, you could get some Chinese food, you could get Jimmy John's, and that was about it. You know what I mean? Like DoorDash wasn't a thing back in 2009, so you were limited as far as what you could have brought to you.
Yeah.
But now game has changed.
Right.
One of the ones we kind of skipped over. They came to one food truck Friday, and then all of their regulars got mad because they weren't at their normal spot. But Tacos Al Pastor,
Oh my gosh.
a lot of people don't know about them because again, they're tucked away on the
Hidden
west side
gem,
by the Woodland
for
Springs
sure.
Apartments. And we have a lot of great tacos at Food Truck Friday. We've got Una Mas, we've got La Poblana, we have Peely's, all fantastic. I'm telling you, Tacos Al Pastor, if you have not had them, you need to get them delivered through driverondeck.com or just go out there on Curry Pike. Is it Curry
Leonard
Pike?
Springs.
Leonard Springs. It turns in,
Same,
right?
But it depends on which way you're coming from. But
Yeah. So just south of Tap Road, over there on the west side,
correct.
by the Woodland Springs Apartments. Mauricio, who's the owner, super cool dude, awesome people. And yeah, just I think their carnitas is what I've done where I was just like, whew, man.
huge portions is what gets it for me.
Yes.
I mean, they have a burrito the size of a small baby.
Ooh, see, I haven't done the burrito. I just had one good. It was one of those where I'm that idiot that's just like, I don't know. You just order one thing, it's so good, and you're like, I'm never gonna order anything else.
Yeah,
where I'm
exactly.
like, this was so perfect that I like, why would I even wander?
Right.
But I did. I've tried a few different types of tacos, but I haven't made it past the tacos yet. I've only had it 3 times, but every time was just as good as the last. So burritos the next move.
I mean, you can't miss.
Yeah.
You really can't miss. I mean, I don't know how we all stay thin. It takes a lot of work for sure. We're up early, and everything. But yeah, all the great food that we get to try and everything. But
So are you doing the in-house for Buffalo's too, or do they still have some of their own drivers? Because I know that was one back in the day that you could actually have delivered.
we can still, you can still get them delivered. We are there. Still call in or place an order online as well as well as our app. And as far as I know, we're their only.
I don't
delivery
think they have
service.
drivers right now, but
Yeah, it's become really tough for.
Yeah.
I mean, as you know, to hire in house. With the gig economy, drivers want to get in, get out, and be on their way.
I don't want any side work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how like my buddies that used to deliver for like Papa John's. They'd still have quite a bit of stuff they still had to do in store. And I don't think everyone realized that, Okay, if you had, let's talk. I'll just we're here to talk food. So
This is what I love about this.
favorite item from one of your restaurant partners.
oh, that's
I know.
that's really tough.
You can give multiple. You can give multiple.
The go-tos are definitely. We'll hit a few of the highlights.
Well, and sorry, Garrett. Can you scroll down? I don't know how I did this. We just completely glazed over the fact, pun intended, that you can have. I didn't mean to do that either. To have Crescent Donut delivered.
Oh gosh, we did. Yes,
Like,
you
how
did.
have I just not? I didn't. That did not even register with me until now. That's a game changer.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's another
Like,
exclusive
A lot of people.
too.
Yeah, a lot of people are waking
This
up.
is where we need. They're like, burr, 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 burr. Garrett, this is when we need Duggar. Is right now. Oh man, yeah. I'm so sorry. We had all this time. I'm like, wait, hold on, stop the presses. You can have Crescent Donut delivered.
You'd be surprised at how many people are getting cookies delivered. Everything. I mean, it's early mornings.
Donuts on deck.
Yeah. There you go. That's it.
Another good ad.
Yeah. You claiming it now?
No. I'm just telling you right now.
like,
We were talking earlier. So before
Ideas.
we started recording, I just got hit by this inspiration of advertising ideas for Driver on Deck, which I don't do this to every guest, thank God. But it just so happened, and I felt good about them. So Donuts on Deck, brought to you by Driver on Deck. All right, so favorite items after I just got over that.
I already know the one you're going to say.
Well, it's tough.
One of the ones I'll call it out for you.
Yeah, so it would be the taquinos from Arepa with the green sauce.
Yes.
Green sauces. I mean, you
Is
can't
that-
get that
can't
anywhere.
get
You can
that green
the-
sauce anywhere else.
So the thing with these taquinos, and not to speak for you, but the mozzarella, you get a mozzarella stick. They're great. They got the breadcrumb, panko, maybe whatever. They got your coating. This is like fluffy pillow bread around cheese with that delicious green sauce.
Oh,
But that's definitely one. I will also say the brisket tacos from Allie Mae's.
Yeah.
That is my other go-to. And recently, probably the turkey melt from Hive.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I would say those are pretty much what I'm stuck on for sure.
I like it all.
I know it's good. I'm like favorite.
I like it all. It depends on the mood I'm in, really, because if I'm trying to be healthy and I want to go for something on the lighter side for a lunch, the go-to is usually like a wrap, like roly-poly or something like that. Chef's Table's awesome, with their sandwiches and everything. And here coming up, their soups.
Oh,
Can't miss McClard's soups.
Some of the best, if not the best, soups in town.
Exactly.
And great call. It's getting colder. Soup season.
Yes, coming up.
Flannel season. Soup season. We're there. Season 5 of the No Dishes podcast is brought to you by VisitBloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurant and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town. Do you guys deliver breakfast?
Yes,
We
do. We do. Right. Now that's something I'm going to say I need to try their biscuits and gravy. I think they have a biscuits and gravy once in a while.
Freaking good. They are so, you got to add the egg. You got to add the over easy egg. I feel like you have to on any B's and G's. You got to get the run, mix it all together.
Yeah.
And that's one thing where I'm all hot sauce on eggs and eggs on biscuits and gravy. Hot sauce and I'm not a hot sauce on everything guy, but in those instances, it really just makes it perfect. But they're B's and G's. The Hive has, if not the best pancakes, the best smelling pancakes. Ooh. The first time I ever had pancakes from them, I got it to go. And I was heading out to our Nashville store. I got that bag. I got in my car and got a whiff of it. And I swear, it was like, it's ingrained in my memory. That first time I had that smell, I'm like, whoa. Like, it was like, I don't know if life-changing, but it was like, I remember it so vividly because it was such a distinct, pleasant smell that I never really smelled just how rich and full it was. If that doesn't get you to get Hive pancakes, I don't know what will.
So this is what our car smells like most of the time. Is it smelling like that, or just a mix of
all the good food?
So you can't work a shift hungry.
You shouldn't.
Have you ever been out delivering and then you just grab, like you're going to pick up food and you just call in a carry out for yourself or something, where you're just like, oh, I need food. I'm going to this place anyway.
Generally not, but it's right after I make the delivery that I'm like, I have to have that just because I'm not trying to throw off.
And then you just go back.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm driving around in town and on my way back.
Okay, yeah, because I feel like I would be doing that. I've done that where someone will be like, hey, we need a tub of ice cream, like Lenny's or Upland or Colonel Spirits. And I'm like, ooh, you know what? I'm kind of hungry too. I'm going to take this tub of ice cream. I'm going to call in a carryout order. So like Lenny's, you walk in the back, you drop the tub, and then I walk around the front and they'll be like, hey, I have a carryout order. And I was like, I was just in their kitchen.
Right. I don't blame you.
All right, well, you guys it's a small but mighty roster.
Yeah, we tried to cover a little bit of everything. We wanted a few breakfast items, a few lunch items, and really just some of the cornerstones in town, that we feel like gave a good mix and good people. We like to work with good people with a good product.
Absolutely. That's the thing is you look at all this great food, but then you think of all the people behind them.
Exactly.
Baked with Jeremy and Jason, Hive, Kyle, Jeff, Gables Bagels, Ed, James, Nancy, same with Buffalo Louie, Chef's Table, Card and Tiffany, Roly Poly. I met the two new owners. I can't remember their names, but I knew Tom.
Mitch and Tony, I believe.
Mitch and Tony, okay. I need to reach back out to them because when they first bought it, they came by the Moose to introduce themselves, but it was like as I was leaving to do something else. So it was hey, very nice to meet you. Okay, see ya. Right. And I didn't know that they came to talk. And I'm like, oh, sorry. We talked about Mauricio, Joy and Peanut with Bloomington, Ken with Ellie Mays. I forget the new owners of Crescent, but they've done an incredible job since they bought it, I think maybe 2 years ago, where they've really just revamped their offerings and they're doing different fillings and toppings and really trying to
put out some specials.
Be special, constantly evolving and changing donuts. And then Rarepa Burger, you got Marcus and Nicole. I'm DJing their wedding here in a couple weeks. I'm really excited for that.
We'll see you there.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll be there.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, they're having a dog walk the rings down the aisle. I'm so pumped. When he reached out, he's like, "Do you know a dog that could?" I was like, "Maybe, I don't know." And he came by yesterday or the other day for these Lotus vouchers that we redeemed, and we were just talking about it. He's like, "I found a dog, by the way." I'm like, "Oh, perfect, that's great."
Are we all supposed to chase the dog if it runs off?
I don't know.
I hope it's inside.
And then you got that. It's all just us chasing the dog all around the farm. No, I'm so excited you guys are going. I'm pumped. That'll be a great time. Okay, I was gonna run through your roster and say my favorite thing from each one, but I feel like I've already said them. They've already, and you guys have nailed them too.
I say try them all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't miss.
But like you said, you got a good mix of cultural, sweet, savory. Such a variety. Do you guys have a cutoff on when you stop delivering any given day, or when you start?
When our partners start
delivering
pretty much. Now, in the morning, as we can fill the spots, we don't currently go before 9 a.m. pretty much.
Right, we don't start before 9.
Okay,
yeah.
So the only one, Crescent and Gables Bagels, but we'll start at 9 for them.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah,
that's great. So I guess since you've started it, would you say your growth has kind of been what you thought it would be, or a little bit better? What are some of the things maybe you've learned over these 4 years of operation now?
Was it what you expected starting out? Was it as fast
when we
as it
started
is tracking?
out? No, but when we started this year, we said we wanted to hit 3 restaurants every quarter, get 3 new restaurants under every quarter, and so far we have done that this year.
Yeah, we wanted about a 30% growth rate year after year, and just kind of putting some focus into that. But then again, it just becomes a matching game of who do we want to work with, who can we work with, and do we have the labor to do it really? So for me, I want to just take off running, but it doesn't happen like that. It's not a field of dreams, as they call it. You build it and they come type of thing.
Right.
It's not. It's a growth process, and it's a lot of hard work, and kudos to you for everything that you're doing here lately. You deserve your own applause for sure.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's you guys keep me fueled, so someone's got to. Would you say from the outside looking in, it almost maybe seems like this year has been almost a breakout kind of year for you? Would you say that's a fair assessment?
To me, it's more focus that we've put into it. We started, I guess, I don't like resolutions. I just like getting it done. But we started with goals at the beginning of the year, and actually before the beginning of the year is how we like to start our goals and just say, hey, here's what we want to get done. We want to take a vacation too. We were able to do that finally after first time in 3 years.
Where'd you go?
We went to my home. So we went to the Bay Area and showed him around California. He had never been, and I hadn't been home yet. And so it was perfect.
Perfect weather. It was my first. It was my first time.
I mean, that's a great. Yeah.
No,
you're like, it just took more for. Well, it's like, well, you're from a vacation destination.
Yeah.
So
no.
that is perfect. 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah.
Exactly. So I had a good time doing that. That was one of the goals, and so we're going coast to coast this year. Actually, the plan is to around Thanksgiving. I've got family on the East Coast. She's never seen the East Coast, so we're trying to get that.
I love it.
Yeah, and these are things we couldn't do without having the drivers and the help and the support, that we've got. So that's been awesome, really getting out from behind the wheel and being able to grow the business.
Yeah, well, it just has to be extremely just gratifying that you've worked your tail off for this many years, and it's finally like, okay, we can take maybe even just a week or two,
Exactly.
You'll get right back to the grind. But just to get that, I'm sure you cherish that trip to California more than ones you have in the past, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, yeah, I worked my ass off for this.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
And we chose to drive, too, and enjoy the whole time out
Nice.
there. We wanted to see the
We saw
countryside.
a couple cool things.
I'm gonna have to talk to you guys about that because I've been considering. I'm like, man, I want to just go on a road trip. I just want a road trip, not even really with much of a plan. And I'm thinking I might do that this winter.
Yeah, definitely. She's not going to recommend the mountains, but
I was going to drive south.
Oh, there you
just
go.
Get warm and then cut west.
There
That's
you
what I
go.
was thinking.
Yeah, that'd be the ideal way to go.
Or just go down to the Carolinas and Georgia and something. I don't know.
Right.
Who knows? We're just going to turn this into a vacation planning podcast.
I'm dreaming now.
Better business, better community. For over a century, the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce has been a cornerstone of business growth and community development. They are dedicated to helping local businesses thrive. Their business is all about your business. Join the Chamber today. Call 812-336-6381 or visit chamberbloomington.org to learn more. So what's next? What's on the horizon for Driver on Deck?
Let's see. More currently, it's the onboarding of drivers, and matching that more. We are, I guess, looking out in the next few years. We're looking at more growth and expansion into the surrounding areas, like Columbus, more into Ellettsville. We kind of touch on Ellettsville a little bit, but we want to expand over into Spencer seems like we're getting a lot of drivers that are interested from Spencer, and we know there's some restaurants in there that maybe, they could field both ways. But there's some growth right here regionally. We're not planning on expanding past Indiana, yet, but we are going to take it a little bit further.
Yeah, I love it. There's enough to tackle here.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
And so right now, I think you had mentioned to me last time we talked that you go out to about Edgewood High School.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going pretty far out
on the main roads. So I want to put a caveat in there. We aren't hitting a lot of the
further out.
It turns into a rural area pretty quickly in Ellettsville. So we stay.
And then
away from
what are some of your other kind of perimeter rough boundaries that people that might be listening are curious if Driver on Deck goes to them?
So we go to Edgewood High School, and then we go, I think, all the way to Fairfax.
Oh, no, that's pretty far south.
Yeah, I was going to say south. So that's and then everything in between, pretty much. Like he said, nothing too rural. We lose reception. It becomes a mess for drivers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's happened to me when we tried to do it, and it was not fun. I was like, I don't know where I am, and I can't figure it out.
This is awful.
But I mean, that's pretty much. We want to kind of keep it in the city.
Yeah.
Yep, there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So we on the east side there, we
probably not too far past like Brewster's and.
Correct. We're hitting about Long's Landing area in there.
Makes sense.
Covers a few of those neighborhoods.
Yeah, west side maybe like Harsh Strait type.
Where's the airport?
We go to the airport. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're hitting those.
Sweet. Yeah, those all just make sense. That's like I feel like I could have just like kind of guessed those. Like, yep, this is a good solid boundary here, there. But yeah, you're going all over the place. So
and $2 deliveries from that whole area too that we just mentioned.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fee, what you pay on Driver on Deck is for the food itself is what you pay in the restaurant.
Correct.
And then the fee is $2.
Correct. The delivery fee itself. Yeah. And then there's a small service fee that covers like any processing and then our in-house stuff to keep the site running and everything else.
And then obviously we here at No Dishes, they're not saying this, but on No Dishes, you should tip your driver. We are strong supporters of that. Well, sweet. Well, that's I love seeing how far you guys have come. We talked years ago when you guys were first building this. So it's been really cool to watch it from the outside, see how much you guys have grown. You've stuck with it. You've accomplished so much. I'm really excited to just see what continued growth you have. We talked a lot about the restaurants that you partner with. We touched on both of your backgrounds some. We didn't dive into it too much. But, I want to spend our last little bit here talking about other restaurants in town that you guys enjoy. You've been around, you've worked in the industry, you eat out, other restaurants that you maybe want to give some flowers to.
Go ahead. Spotlight.
Oh,
whoever.
gosh.
You can incorporate anybody.
No, I was going to say Lenny's.
Applebee's.
Say Applebee's one more time.
No. Sorry, Applebee's. No. But Lenny's, I would say, out of all of the restaurants that we don't work with, that is probably my favorite.
Okay, what do you guys like to get at Lenny's?
I do the teriyaki chicken salad.
It's so good.
It's so good for a salad. I'm not a get a salad when I eat out type of person, except when I'm there. Yeah,
and they and their ahi tuna salad, like they just do really, really good specialty salads at Lenny's.
I love their bread. So what's it's the original with the roast beef or whatever,
and that like fluffy.
Yeah,
I could like that's the only way I know how to do it. Hold on,
that's
Garrett, can you cut to me? So that's their bread.
Yeah, for sure. It's it's got a lot of flavor.
It's got the red onion on there, and the Lenny's the original. It's a great sandwich.
One that I actually miss is in one of our current partners' location. Was in one of our current partners' locations. So Garcia's Pizza. I don't think you were here.
No, I feel like I've heard it mentioned.
So we had talked off air before about favorite pizzas, and I think I said Little Caesars or something.
Oh, that's right.
That is my normal go-to currently. If I'm just wanting a quick pizza on the go type of thing, and it's not here anymore. So man,
it's gone. Yeah.
But it was Garcia's Pizza, which was I'm going to mention another name and date myself. Spaceport, right around the corner from that. It's Buffalo's, where Buffalo's is.
Really?
Now.
Okay. Yeah.
The Gables building.
Yeah. So Garcia's was in there.
Yeah, it was a pizza kind of by the slice thing, and you get these deep dish square pizzas, and it's still around. It's a chain as well. Yeah. It's only in I think Illinois.
Interesting.
Right
no, I feel like I've heard of Garcia's Pizza before. I haven't heard of Spaceport. But yeah, when we were doing that the Chamber of Commerce, shout out there, one of our sponsors, Bloomington Chamber of Commerce, their Upstart a Career Fair, there's someone at Papa John's. I was telling Nate, I was like, dude, I love my local spots, but as far as nostalgia, for me, it's Papa John's because I just grew up on it, and it still tastes the same now as it did when I was a kid, and I love that. And then that's where like, nah, I'm Little Caesars, bro. I'm like, okay, cool.
It wasn't quite like that, but
Yeah, that's how he said it. It was very combative. I was like,
that is not how I said
you
it.
like that shit? Like, have you had the hot and ready? The Bloomington Town Planner is a community calendar owned and published by local residents John and Sharon Martin. Mailed out to Bloomington homes in December of each year, it features school schedules and community events. And don't forget the coupons at the bottom of the calendar. They'll save you money and help you decide on the next restaurant or retailer to check out here in the Bloomington area. Town Planner also has an online calendar which will be found at townplanner.com. Make sure to sign up for their weekly e-newsletter so you can stay on top of all the fun events going on around town. Is there other restaurants that you miss other, than Garcia's this might apply to you too in your 9 years here?
Actually, definitely.
Yeah, some places that you really like that aren't around anymore?
Irish Lion is another sad one to go. I mean, if you think about it, where's the next closest Irish restaurant that we have
I don't
for
even
St.
know.
Patty's Day?
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
You got to drive
Not
45
Bloomington,
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was a hard one to see go for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, now you can go make an Irish candle.
Oh,
There's a
I
candle
didn't
bar
see that.
going in there. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
it
I
might be
don't
a
know.
great time.
It might-
I might
yeah.
go in there and make a candle and be like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Who knows?
They have the same bar still and everything? I mean,
I don't know.
Where they
So-
just sit at the same bar.
Don't take this as canon, but my understanding is that CFC Cook bought the building and they're subdividing it.
Okay.
But the Kirkwood Candle Bar, which is an existing business, is moving in to some or part of the building.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and it could, I don't want to misspeak, but I think it's like you can make your own candles, but it also has a bar drinking aspect.
Okay.
Could be completely wrong, but I think I saw that.
Don't quote you. Got it.
Yeah. This is, we don't have a lawyer, but I'm going to pretend our lawyer told me to say, it's like this. Don't take this as financial advice. Any other places you guys miss or current places that you still really enjoy?
I've said a couple. I think what do you?
Miss Red Mango.
Oh, interesting.
Actually, we
did
don't
have
have
that for
anything
us.
like that.
Yeah, we have no
either.
froyo
We used to
here.
have a TCBY too. Again, dating myself, but that was actually where Lenny's is now.
Yeah, okay.
So
I never told anyone this. I went around and sabotaged all the froyo places personally. So I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But I said, this is a chocolate mousse town.
Oh, that's
It
fair.
has
No,
been.
that's
Mark's
very
fire.
fair.
I'm just going to.
it has been a moose town. I do.
Yeah, all those, it's like the froyo arsonist is on the loose. That was me.
How about food items? I miss the Spanish burger.
Oh, you got to do me like that. I know. Yeah, that was tough, man. That was really tough.
Yeah. I mean, it's all with the cost and everything else. Like,
Well, yeah, and just being able to deliver a consistent, fresh product. And, we would rent time at the kitchen chair to make those. And we still do to make our chili sauce for our famous chili dogs. Sug one. And then, just didn't move enough and it was tough. But yeah, released the recipe. And people loved that.
Appreciate it.
So that was the least we could do. And if not too many people are ever faced with having to cancel an item that's been around for 80 years.
For sure.
So it's like that was tough. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
There it is.
Garrett pulled up a picture of the spaceport. So what is that? What is the spaceport?
That was where. So way back before we had Nintendos and all these gaming consoles back in the day, you had arcades. Yeah, that was an arcade.
Okay.
So it was basically where all of us young kids and teenagers that were latchkey kids could go and hang out and
What
time.
intersection is that at? Where is it?
That's right there. So 2 doors down, you have Lenny's on the right hand side. It's on Kirkwood.
Is that where
Kirkwood in Indiana? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got it. So
It's,
that picture would be facing southwest.
Gosh, you're
Yes.
making me think
Okay,
directions.
thank you, Gary. Yeah,
The sample gates would be to your left.
yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, that's accurate.
Huh. Yeah, what a gnarly looking building.
Mm-hmm. It was all up. What do you mean? That's a new age building from back then, man.
Yeah,
You're talking.
yeah. You're like, Jordan, you need to shut up. Oh, man. All right. Well, yeah, I never went to Red Mango. I feel like I would have liked it. Was that or Orange Leaf where that Mr. Hot Pot is now? It was red mango or orange leaf. I can't remember which one it was.
Red Mango was on 10th Street.
That's right, where Lenny's used to
Yeah.
be. And then Orange Leaf was where Mr. Hot Pot is now. Because I was
think it's
talking
close
on
to
the
there.
radio show today about how there's only a handful of restaurants I've never been to in Bloomington. And Mr. Hot Pot is one of them. I've been to Homie Hot Pot, but not Mr. Hot Pot.
Okay.
And I went to Sushi Bar for lunch today. I had never been to Sushi Bar. It was really good. $9.99 for 3 rolls for a lunch special. And it came with like the salad with the miso dressing.
We're gonna have to give that a shot. We've
Yeah.
been talking about
10th of the bypass. I mean, and next time you have a Hive delivery and you're way ahead and it's
Right
not ready, pop into
Just
Sushi
right.
Bar.
Get some.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. So my new goal is to knock out. There we go. Yeah, Garrett pulled up the old red mango over there.
it.
And then
Garrett's on it.
I haven't been to Domo on the west side, next to Texas Roadhouse. TR.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
Haven't been there
yeah.
either.
There's just a random. I think there's maybe 5 or 6 places that I haven't been yet, and I'm just gonna get them knocked out, so I'm not a fraud anymore.
There you
You know, I can't be the local
Gotcha.
food guy and have 5 places
Gotta
I've
try
never
everything.
been to.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so I'm going to start a GoFundMe for people that want to fund me going to these places I haven't been yet. I think it's really important. So
There we go.
opportunity to give back, you know.
Link
Right.
in the description. Or,
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, I love it. Well, is there anything we weren't able to touch on as far as Driver on Deck or any of your partners that you guys want to kind of speak on before we let you go?
I don't think so. I don't
You,
have
you've
anything.
covered everything else?
I think so.
I think, I mean, I think you've done a great job at highlighting everything. You know, we touched on each one of the restaurants, and I mean, they're all great people. You know, that's where we like to start, is working with great people. You know, with a great product, and it makes our job easy from there.
That's what makes local
So-
local. It's the people, and that's what this podcast is all about, is the people
Right.
behind local stuff and local restaurants. And what you guys are doing, I think, is super, super cool. So I'm so glad, you know, you guys are doing what you're doing and that you took the time to come on. So thank you so much.
Hey,
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you for
Had a great
having
time.
us.
Yeah.
Thanks for everything you're doing for the community.
Absolutely. Cheers, guys. There you go. You can't laugh, Garrett. All right, here we go. There you go, little fella. Oh, what another great episode. Thanks so much to Season 7 presenting sponsor. Visit Bloomington. Check them out. Visit Bloomington.com. As always, keep those hands dry. This episode of the No Dishes Podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.